we always see the same face of the moon. That happens because the moon is a cosmic plasma phenomenon. The moon is not land, but a focused electromagnetic energy light with its own phases. It takes place in a semi-ethereal toroid field above because of the electromagnetic energy that comes from below our level plane. On the face of the moon, we can see the material field that is below the world that we live in, mirrored, working like a level Earth's selfie. The moon is a focused electromagnetic phenomenon called plasma. Cosmic electromagnetic energy comes below from the flat and stationary plane going above. The inner reflection of this electromagnetic energy on this field's ceiling turns it back down, creating a focus spot point in a semi-ethereal environment. At this spot, there is fluorescence of the ether because of the focused cosmic electromagnetic energy. The spot that is created is the moon. In this way, the moon reveals to us the large part of the terrestrial and oceanic surface, and with these natural characteristics, serves as a natural map of Earth. Moon, the map of Earth. Moon is a focused plasma phenomenon and happens in the ethereal field above. It is a semi-ethereal, showing us the material field and the world we live in. The reason that happens is an electromagnetic coil moving source below. With a few words, is like Earth's selfie. It is the mirror of the Earth. That is why we always see the same face of the moon. It is the face of the Earth in real time. We have to flip the moon mirror and to see the map of the Earth in this transition. Water masses and energy spots give fluorescence on the ethereal field above, white areas of the moon. But land masses do not, transparent areas of the moon, blue in the day, black in the night. So in this way, we have the first world map by plasma moon. water masses give fluorescence in the ethereal field above and create the Moon. They are represented from the white part of the Moon. Land masses do not give fluorescence, so they are represented transparently. They always take the background color of the sky. Moon is an electromagnetic phenomenon and happens in a semi-ethereal field above at around 5,500 kilometers altitude. Its diameter is 51 kilometers. It is made from fluorescence and phosphorized ether of krypton. Cosmic electromagnetic energy comes from below, black sun, and hits the inner side of our toroidal field. There is a prismatic refraction of this cosmic energy there that separates it to plus and minus, creating the Sun and the Moon at two moving spots with shape-like lenses below where they are focusing. The Moon is a live reflection of the Earth like a mirrored X-ray. In this way it reveals to us all part of the terrestrial and oceanographic surface of the Earth. These characteristics serve as the full map of Earth. Sun and daylight. The Sun is the pilot light of the daylight and is also semi-ethereal, on the same height with the same size as the Moon. It happens because of an electromagnetic coil moving source below. The ionosphere is the upper portion of the atmosphere. There are the inert or noble gases that are separated on layers according to their molecular mass. Sun happens above these layers in the ionosphere, and it is the pilot light, electromagnetic field, and due to this light there are shadows. It gives direct light. The Sun creates and also moves a curved electromagnetic field around it that makes all the inert gases below in the ionosphere around the topical Sun to react by being ionized, giving fluorescence. That is exactly the daylight. Happens in the ionosphere and is called plasma light. It is a circle-moving fluorescent molecules light umbrella over level Earth made by ionized inert gases. Daylight is gas discharge light in a huge scale. When the Sun goes away, the temperature and the pressure are getting very low and the gases there are discharged. When the Sun comes, the electromagnetic field ionizes the inert gases and we have daylight. If something occurs, it is not the Earth but the daylight, because it happens due to the pilot moving electromagnetic field that the Sun creates. We also see noble gases helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, also hydrogen. These gases are the gases of the ionosphere, and they are on layers, every one in a different layer, the heavier gases down and the lighter up. A moving light umbrella is the daylight called plasma. We can see every color from the ionized gases in the sky. Every blue from ionized argon is the blue color of the sky. Every yellow, orange from ionized neon is the color before sunrise or after sunset. Neon reacts from long distance with a less electromagnetic energy. Sun is an electromagnetic phenomenon and happens in a semi-ethereal field above at around 5,500 kilometers altitude. Its diameter is 51 kilometers. It is made from fluorescence and phosphorized helium. It is the pilot source of electromagnetic energy, giving it to the other inert gases below, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radonium, charging them. These charged gases are responsible for the colors of the daylight. Cosmic electromagnetic energy comes from below and hits the inner side of our toroidal field. There is a prismatic refraction of this cosmic energy there that separates it to plus and minus, creating the Sun and the Moon at two moving spots with shape like lenses below where they are focusing. The ionosphere is the upper portion of the atmosphere. There are the inert or noble gases that are separated on layers according to their molecular mass. Sun happens above these layers in the ionosphere, and it is the pilot light electromagnetic field, and due to this light there are shadows. It gives direct light. The Sun creates and also moves a curved electromagnetic field around it that makes all the inert gases below in the ionosphere around the topical Sun to react by being ionized, giving fluorescence. The moonlight is colder than the shadow. Doing the experiment to measure the temperature at a point that receives the moonlight and a little next to it that has a shadow, we find that the thermometer in the moonlight shows a lower temperature. Depending on the light of the moon, which depends on the phase it is in, but also on other factors such as the purity of the atmosphere and the temperature, we have the corresponding cooling, with the full moon giving the greatest. This happens because moonlight is a different light than the sunlight. The moon does not reflect the sun's light, it is an independent one. Total cosmic energy comes from below and hits the top of our electromagnetic toroidal field. Two conical energy and light refractions happen there that create the sun and the moon below where they are focusing. The sun is the focused energy plus and the moon is the energy minus. That is why we measure the light temperature of the moonlight is colder than the shade. black sun. Below the surface of the Earth, there is the black sun that is responsible for the creation of sun and moon. Polar lights are from the black sun below and come from a big hole that there is on the magnetic north in Hyperborea. Black sun is moving below in a coil motion, creating an electromagnetic field with direction from below to above. Its motion center is magnetic north. Polaris is fixed and is up from the magnetic north. On the top of the ceiling of our toroidal field, black sun's electromagnetic field creates the stars as reflections of the great depths and energy spots of Earth. The diameter of black sun's motion is changing, a fact that makes all the electromagnetic field dynamic. On our toroidal ceiling, at the place where Polaris happens, there is a reverse direction refraction of the cosmic energy that comes from the black sun. This refraction separates the cosmic energy to energy plus that creates the sun and to minus that creates the moon below where the refracted energies are focusing. The plus refraction of the cosmic energy works like a limit to the minus refraction when these refractions are close. Because of this, we have the phases of the moon. That's why there is a relation between the constellation difference between the sun and moon and the moon's phases. When the conical shape refraction that creates the sun plus is on the same constellation as the refraction that creates the moon minus, the first one neutralizes the second. In this way we have the new moon. Because of the dynamic of the refraction, every day there is a different position between these two conical shape refractions, and in this way we have the moon's phases. When these refractions are opposite, there is no neutralization of the moon's conical refraction from the sun's one, so only in this case we have the full moon. As the sun's refraction is getting closer again, we have the rest of the moon's phases till the new moon. When the angle of incidence of the black sun below is big, the sun and moon are very close. When they are at the same constellation, we have the new moon. In this case, the conical refraction of the sun completely neutralizes the moon's one. As the angle of the incidence is getting smaller, we have the first quarter of the moon. In this case, the sun's conical refraction hides the half of the moon's refraction from left if we are northern the moon's path, or right if we are southern when the axis of moon's phases is vertical to the horizon. When the angle of incidence is the smallest, we have the full moon. In this case, the two refractions are opposite and do not affect each other. Finally, when the angle of incidence is getting bigger, we have the third quarter, and in this case, the sun's conical refraction hides the right half of moon's refraction when the axis of phases is vertical to the horizon, when we are northern the moon's path, or the left if we are southern. Constellation circle. The real constellation circle has not its center in the middle. If we put the constellation center of the moon, the map of the Earth, in exactly the same diameter, we can see that the North Pole is at the same place of the constellation circle. The center of the constellation circle and the North Pole makes a full circle too, every 26,000 years. Moon's phases. Moon phases depend on the constellation difference between Sun and Moon. There are 13 moons every year. The changing angle of the electromagnetic field below that creates the Sun and the Moon is the reason for the moon phases. The shading we see in the craters of the Moon changes, and this fact is depending on the Moon's phase. The Moon is a concentrated semi-ethereal phenomenon that shows the Earth's surface due to the cosmic energy that comes from below. This cosmic energy is refracting to the ceiling of the field, creates two luminaries, the Sun and the Moon, below where they are focusing. The Moon is like the X-ray of the Earth imprinted on the ethereal field above. The phases have to do with the conical refractions that are created, Sun and Moon. When the refractions are close, in constellation circle, then the refraction plus neutralizes the reflection minus. Commonly, the Moon has a limit, and this is the conical refraction of the Sun. What we see as a crater is the shape of the terrain of the Earth on a deep ocean at that point. The change of the shading angle of the craters, depending on the phase in which the Moon is, shows us the angle of the incidence from bottom to top of the cosmic energy from the black sun phenomenon. Constellation difference, Sun and Moon. There is a relation between the Sun's and Moon's constellation difference and the phase of the Moon like this. New Moon. When there is a new moon, the Sun and the Moon are in the same constellation. When the angle of incidence of the black sun below is big, the Sun and Moon are very close. They are at the same constellation and we have the new moon. In this case, the conical refraction of the Sun neutralizes completely the Moon's one. These conical refractions create the Sun and the Moon with shapes like lenses at almost same altitude. First quarter. In the first quarter of the Moon, the Sun and the Moon have 3 constellations difference. As the angle of incidence is getting smaller, we have the first quarter of the moon. In this case, the sun's conical refraction hides the half of the moon's refraction from left if we are northern, the moon's path, or right if we are southern, when the axis y of the axis of phases is vertical to the horizon. Full moon. When there is full moon, the sun and the moon are in opposite constellations. They have 6 constellations difference. When the angle of incidence is the smallest, we have the full moon. In this case, the 2 refractions are opposite and do not affect each other. Last quarter. In last quarter, the sun and the moon have 9 constellations difference. Finally, when the angle of incidence is getting bigger, we have the third quarter, and in this case the sun's conical refraction hides the right half of moon's refraction when the axis of phases is vertical to the horizon, when we are northern, the moon's path, or the left if we are southern. We can study oceanographia looking at the surfaces of the bottoms of the seas and great depths.